Rachel Rose here for Paradise London, and we are in the back of the Paradise cab, and I'm here with Mansi, who is
Europe Director at EssenceMediacom, and I look after the Mars Wrigley snacking business across Europe.
Fabulous. So you're going to be a great person for me to speak to you today. So we're here at South by Southwest, and we're asking a mixture of marketing, social media kind of questions about the scape of things at the moment. So finish this sentence. The future of marketing is?
Honest.
Oh, I like that. Elaborate.
Yes. I've spent, all of the talks today and over the last couple of days have all been about AI and influencers and creativity. But I think it all kind of comes back to having a purpose and being honest. And if you aren't, then people can see right through that. And if otherwise, why are we in our jobs? Why are we doing the things we're doing? We're not trying to force people or trick people into buying our products. We ultimately want them to believe in it. So I would hope, perhaps that's wishful thinking, I would hope that the future of marketing is honest.
Well, I've been asking these questions obviously for a couple of days, and actually authenticity and honesty and things have actually been quite a strong consensus across the board, that it's gone past the point of trying to ram your idea into somebody's face. It's more about, actually, we believe in it, and if we say it right, you'll believe in it.
Yeah, and kind of finding those micro tribes of people, because people have weird and quirky interests. People aren't just part of a mass homogenous population. And yes, of course, you can go for massive groups of people like, I don't know, Taylor Swift fans, of which I am one. But, you know, there are people who have all these niche kind of mad interests. And if you can tap into those at scale, you know, that's another way of being really honest with your marketing and kind of making sure you're talking to those people.
Absolutely, and it's actually giving me hope and faith for the future of humanity that we are focusing on what's real, not on what is just sellable or, you know, whatever. So that's great news. One viral hit or 10 posts with 20,000 views?
Posts with 20,000 views.
Why?
I think if you ride a massive wave, and then what happens when that wave crashes, I'd rather have kind of that slow and steady build, you know, the hare and the tortoise, the slow and steady wins the race.
It builds that foundation.
Yeah, I mean, the only example that really comes to mind recently is Drunk Elephant. Drunken Elephant. They went mad on Sephora because all the tweens were buying them, and so it turned off a bunch of people who probably had the budgets to be able to buy them long term, and now they're kind of suffering because they're no longer exciting and cool and viral. And so now what for them? So, and that's only taken them, 18 months, 2 years to live out that whole life cycle of riding the success of their viral wave. Viral wave, yes. Yeah.
No, that's it's an interesting one, because that's been quite the consensus across the board as well. People want the foundational stability, and I think people are less wanting to have that one moment because they're realising there is no longevity in it. They can't build a career or build a product off the back of a moment. You have to have...
But if it happens authentically, then you're not doing it as an engineered path. You're not doing something risque for the sake of being risque. You're actually doing it in order to... You're just going about your life, and if that takes off, great. But then you've got the foundation to back that up.
Exactly. Okay, you've got £50 budget and 10 minutes to try and go viral. What do you do first?
Probably out in the streets, see where your product is being used in real life in the quirkiest, craziest way possible.
What would you do? What do you think you'd buy with £50? Oh, like a dinosaur suit?
Yeah, I was going to say, you probably buy some of your product to do something quirky with, and get your team and you're behind it. I mean, I don't think you can get much, but I would say if you start with what you have and what you own already, and see what craziness you can build from there, because £50 ain't going to get you very far.
No.
I think it buys you a few packs of M&Ms and things like that. I don't know, juggling contest?
Yeah, that could work.
I could be a juggler.
Are you any good at juggling?
No.
You could try.
That could be funny.
Oh, that's part of the content. There you go, that's the content. Trying to learn how to juggle with M&Ms. Perfect. How would you explain South by Southwest to your friends and family?
Well, as I work in advertising, most people have no idea what that is. And when you speak outside of the sphere in which work, it's the Chandler Bing job. Yep. To use a Friends reference. I've described it.
Monster.
Yeah, exactly. Family, if you're watching, no idea what I do.
No.
I would say it's a massive conference of meeting of minds. So the emerging industries of tech, film, entertainment, media, new media, music, all jumbled in together from a strictly selfishly from a marketing advertising lens. Marketing advertising kind of go across all of these things. It takes inspiration from all of them. It is a combination of all of these things. So that's how I've been describing it to people, as a conference of all of the new emerging media trends that are coming out.
That's a pretty good...
Things we know of, things we don't know about.
That's a good explanation. I mean, whether or not the friends and family know what to do with that information, it doesn't matter.
No.
But it's a good explanation. What's one buzzword you'd like to ban from the industry forever?
Apart from going viral.
Going viral, yeah, jeez.
What's one buzzword I'd like to ban? Probably kind of the thing that's sort of engagement. Engagement is a sort of invented metric, I personally think. It's just, what does that mean? If you've clicked on an ad, is that engagement? Or you've probably done it accidentally. If you've, I don't know, I feel like engagement doesn't really tell you anything. Engagement certainly with advertising metrics in that sphere, rather than engagement with the brand. That's what I just think is a bit of an invented metric and doesn't really tell you anything.
Nice. That's a good one. Okay. I was going to find a different question. Not a good one. What's something that marketers take way too seriously?
Well, I think they should take it seriously. Worrying about doing the right thing, worrying about, or worrying about doing the right thing, and they should take that seriously. But perhaps worrying that it won't be perfect the first time around.
Okay.
And some of that is due to the fact that often there isn't a second chance in a world with this huge budgets, etc. But to remember about that kind of massive amounts of detail that you're worried about, but the end consumer just hasn't even clocked, hasn't even noticed. So I would say, making sure that something is, being a bit more real about it and kind of not worrying so much about every sort of finer detail and worrying about what it might be, but just to trust your instincts a little bit more.
I was about to say to you, is it quite do you find that it should, sorry, kicking you in the cab, do you think it should be more of a intuitive, like people should trust their intuition and those things
But
more?
I think we're all guilty of it, and I'd very much say I'm also guilty of it, because you've only, budgets don't just come and go at the drop of a hat. You are worried because it's a lot of money and it's a responsibility to spend that money responsibly. So I think you're worried about the end result. But if we were to all sort of generally sort of be honest with ourselves, we'd probably end up in a hopefully not a hugely different place, but probably a slightly different place.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you one more question. Name a campaign that you wish you'd made.
Oh, that's easy because I talk about this all the time. And it's not even a new campaign. This Girl Can from Sport England. Every time I see that, and they had a little recent revival because I think it's been 10 years since it launched. And I saw it again, and because I now have a little daughter who's 8, and I just thought to myself, this is still going, 10 years later, and I wish I'd had a hand in that.
Yeah.
The insight that went into it, the way it was executed, you come out of it feeling good about yourself, even if you subsequently don't then go for a run. You still watch it. And
you can. That's the main thing.
Yeah, but you come out of it thinking, yes, I absolutely could. And you feel so good about yourself. And the way it was, it was all done, the way it was cast, edited, whatever, the places that I saw it, I always think, you feel a sort of self of pride, even though you had nothing to do with it in the first place.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I think also 10 years ago, if you think about this, the kind of the grand scape of female sport, and the fact that women's football is only getting the attention that it deserves now.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That advert, so actually, when you think about that advert, was a little bit ahead of its time.
Yeah,
which is ridiculous considering that would have been 2015, and that's a whole other discussion. But how amazing, that they were loud and proud then, and we need more of that.
Absolutely, it makes you feel proud watching it, even though why it should do that, why it had that kind of sense of that pride in yourself so many years later. But it's not dated, which is I think also really surprising and eye-opening.
Timeless,
it just feels like it's captured a spirit that I wish I'd been part of.
Amazing. Manasi, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sitting me in the back of the cab, and hopefully we'll cross paths again soon.
Yes, thank you very much.
Lovely to meet you.